And we're getting ready for a great big 2024. But if you feel like you're stuck, if it feels like things aren't going the way that they could or should, this next segment is for you, because you've heard me say on the air that running a small business is lonely and hard. And it really leads back to the person that's running a small business. And when it's how you feel and how you think and how you go about running your business, I like to bring on our next guest. The Chief Growth Officer at Choices Coaching and Consulting is Krista Morrissey. Krista, welcome back to the Pat Miller Show. How are you today?
I am fantastic, and it's fun to be back.
I love having you on the air because I love to have conversations like this because it has everything to do with the person that happens to run a small business. So if someone is listening right now, they're thinking, I just can't do it for another year. I feel stuck. I don't know why this doesn't feel right. If someone said that to you as one of your clients, where would you start?
I would start with them. And almost invariably, what I will say is ground yourself, ground your business. As business owners, when things are going well, we keep expanding. We keep I can do this, I can do that. And next thing we know, we're diluted. Or things aren't going well, and we get a story going in our head that just is on a spin cycle, and we cannot get out of it. And so we come back to, who are you at the core? Why do you love what you do? And what is the story inside of you that has you stuck, that is in the way of you being out there and just shining?
When we talk about big business, it might be agreements that we're working on, or the rates for our line of credit, or something very tactical and businessy. But when you're a solopreneur or a scaling small business owner, you mentioned that story that's in your head. When that story gets stuck on repeat, that feels like sometimes it can derail someone. Is that true?
Oh, it derails us fast. And not only derails us, it pulls us down. It plays with our confidence. It plays with our vision. And frankly, it taps into that self-love. And we start questioning ourselves. Are we worthy? Can I do this? Everyone else is doing it. Why can't I? So, Pat, this is rarely about business acumen. We've got the knowledge. We have resources in this community. It's almost always the story that's going on the inside.
That unworthiness. Talk more about that. If someone thinks that they're not invited or able to enjoy the success, even if they were able to achieve it, unworthiness, that's a hell of a word. How does that show up in the day-to-day behavior?
It is heavy. It is, what I think about is when I played basketball in college, we used to wear these weighted jackets to practice our jump and to run up and down the court. And it is heavy, and it impacts every thought, every move. And again, when you say unworthy, because the story's on the inside and it comes out, we then see ourselves as unworthy in every aspect of our life. And imagine if just everybody in the Idea Collective community could stand up and say, I am worthy. And wow, I'm fantastic. Imagine the impact.
If you're thinking right now, wow, that sounds a lot like me, and man, I don't like looking in the mirror, and maybe I think I am not good enough, and you're wondering why the business isn't working and you're stuck, lean into this interview because we're going to talk now about what to do about it. So if that is how I feel, if I just can't rev up the engine for 24, if I'm thinking I'm not good enough, something must change, what are you doing about it?
The power of your journey and the power of you is a weekend-long women's retreat in January 19, 2021. It's 10 years old, Pat. I was only going to do one. And here I am 10 years later. And the reason I keep going is the stories that the women tell me, the things they tell me that have changed in their lives, the thing they've done with their business, their relationships, themselves. And it's a weekend long that you spend with other women. And you've got access to me for the entire weekend, 24/7. And we go inside and what's in the way. And so 2024 is called the ripple effect. What are you carrying? And the heaviness of it, and how does it ripple into your life. And what would the ripple be if you got rid of it?
The format of a retreat and being all women, how do those two things play together to let a woman that's feeling this way to leave behind the things that are weighing her down by the time she leaves?
Yeah, so this is, this retreat goes deep within, and it goes there quickly, and you are elbow to elbow with other women that have their story and their weight, and you get to spend a weekend with you. So a friend of mine said, this is a weekend with yourself that you never knew you needed. And you get to sit with yourself and address anything you want to address, and you always leave a better woman than you walked in.
The Pat Miller Show is fortunate enough to be on the air all around the country, and anyone from all around the country is welcome to come to this conference. So if you're thinking, wow, that might not be for me, it's for everyone. It's in the January 19th to the 21st are the dates. I want you to share, without outing any in particular, can you share a transformation or something that you've witnessed from someone that showed up one way and left a completely new person?
I'm going to share two, Pat. I'm going to share a personal and I'm going to share a business. The business first. This lady was struggling with should she transition her business through another provider, and really struggle with it because she was successful. And after a weekend, she decided this is the only way to go. And she has transitioned in her market and is one of the leaders in her market. The personal, a woman came to the retreat and was sleeping in a spare bedroom, locked from the inside to stay away from her abusive alcoholic husband.
Wow.
And just spent the weekend emotional and made the decision. A month later, she called me and said, I have filed for divorce and I have moved out. Wow. And she came to about 4 retreats in a row, and you couldn't even recognize her. Completely different woman. And she, by the way, top 2% in the nation in her business. And that's been about 7 years. But when we remove the personal things that are in the way, we succeed in spite of ourselves.
The power of your journey and the power of you. Real quick, how do we get tickets? What's the website?
choicescoachingconsulting.com, and it's splattered all over the front page.
choicescoachingconsulting.com. Krista Morrissey, thanks for coming on the Pat Miller Show. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Pat.
That is one great conference. Definitely check it out. Out of time for this week's episode. We'll talk to you right here next week. Thanks for tuning in to the Pat Miller Show.
Thanks for listening to The Pat Miller Show.
See patmillershow.com for more information on today's guests, events, and the Idea Collective small business community.
A worldwide group working together to fight fear, inexperience, and isolation for small business owners everywhere.
Join us next week for The Pat Miller Show.
And remember,
get clear,
work hard,
and never quit. Guests on The Pat Miller Show have agreed prior to appearing that they are receiving consultation and advice that they may or may not use at their own risk. No part of the show should replace accounting, tax, or legal advice.